G'day, Mark. Thank you for coming on the show.
No, my pleasure. Nice to have it confirmed that these were songs that I'd be taking to a desert island. I wasn't quite sure. I thought it was actually Stewart Island.
Well, it is Stewart Island disc.
You don't take Pavarotti to Stewart Island unless you want to lose your front teeth, I wouldn't have thought.
No, you probably don't actually. No, so that is 10.
So I have made it probably a little bit with a country bent, and who knows? I mean, it was probably a bit safer what I went with.
Yeah, I think so. I'm quite surprised, I have to say, by some of the choices. But first of all, let's have a wee chat about where you're at. So, first of all, what's keeping you busy at this moment?
At the moment, I'm sitting down looking at a couple of projects which I'm trying to get off the ground. One's in the tourism space, so my timing's impeccable. And
yes,
we've got a little agency in Auckland where we do advertising work, primarily for Toyota and one or two others.
Yeah, and also you've just had a great, scored a great business milestone in selling the juice company for a not insubstantial amount.
Yeah, well, that was sort of a decade ago. So it's not necessarily relevant news these days, but
actually,
we got
right.
the right buyer. Right buyer at the right time. So
I live in the past. You remember that? Yeah, God. Yeah. Let's just move quickly on from that. Yes. Okay, fine, very fabulous. No, but I mean, what I'm saying is that you are a smart businessman, and it's been, it's just one side of you because you've just done so much in your life. Do you kind of miss the rugby days?
No, not at all. I look at it now and watch very little. I watch probably a bit more sort of school rugby, and I'm just in awe of the size and the power of these young fellas. And I'm going, God, thank Christ I did it when I did, because it's not really a game for skinny white chaps, quite like it once was.
Yeah, it's got super physical.
Yeah, it most certainly has. And although I'm saying that, there's so many. The rules are slightly softer because of the size of the people. So, what in the past would have been considered or condoned a good tackle or a bit of fair play and rucking and so forth has all been ruled out of the game. But I think if they had it these days, there'd just be too many injuries because they're such huge athletes.
Yeah, it's funny because when I think
no, don't miss it. Don't miss it all.
No. I imagine you don't. And what about all the television? The great shows over the years, because there were some crackers, and you just look like you were having the best time of your life when you're on the Sports Cafe. Is it a great memory still?
Yeah, well, the whole lot was a good memory. I mean, we, the funny thing with TV Land is it is La La Land, and if it's your primary gig, they've got you by the short and curlies, but it was never our primary gig, so we'd just turn around and say, nah, we're not doing that, piss off. And they'd say, well, we'll pay you a bit more, and so we actually exported the process, so we were getting paid handsomely to have as much fun as you want, and then they'd say such things as, no, you can't have a beer on set. Well, what do you mean I can't have a beer? I need half a dozen at least to get through an hour of Sports Cafe. So you were in the end being paid to drink a few sherbets and take the piss out of people on a Wednesday night. I mean, it was the absolute perfect gig, but part of the game is to know that it's a wave that you're riding and jump off before it crashes. So it was a lovely chapter, but I sort of see my life in chapters, and that was one I'm happy to have behind me now. I don't think you'd get away with half of what we did these days in this Puritan society.
No, we're way too woke and way too PC now, aren't we?
Oh, just getting a bit weak, I think.
Yeah, do you feel that?
Precious people who are lining up to protect others, And lots of people who, feel slightly aggrieved that they haven't achieved quite what they thought they would, and so they jump on the bandwagon of the various hot topics of the day and support it very aggressively against anyone who dare step out of line. I mean, it's the lynch mob mentality. I find it bloody amusing, to be honest.
Yeah, it takes a brave man to put your head above the parapet and actually take anyone on in this country, I think.
Well, that's why, people like Ricky Gervais are just so refreshing. You watch it and the media is so bloody hopeless these days with respect, that they're just selling clickbait. So if you have something like Ricky Gervais's latest thing where he was completely, taking the mick out of, gender pronouns, and people took huge offence, and there were, headlines that made it look as though the guy was seriously out of line. You watch it in totality, and it's, just Ricky Gervais having a bit of a crack, But that's why I think those sort of people, and Jordan Peterson, and people who say what they think, and do stick their head up, are so bloody refreshing.
It is, and I think that's kind of what we're trying to do here on the platform, and you're kind of the perfect guest in many ways because of that, because back in, 96, I remember you mostly for nude days. Like, when I think of your name, I think of nudity, because you were always on about it.
It was ahead of its time, really. I think if somebody, we should have actually, when we tried one year to make it an international nude day, but I think, with the ability, this was all prior to social media, so it's kind of difficult to get an international nude day out there on the world stage. But with social media, it'd be quite easy, now to say, right, this is the day, put a big prize up, and just celebrate people sending in. When we had one international, it was quite funny. I don't think somebody won. We gave them gold in the end because it was naked money, and we were getting entries from all over the world. And the curious thing is that different parts of the world find different types of nudity more or less amusing, So
yeah,
it was quite nuanced with, some of the far north countries, like to jump into the freezing cold, and, down here we like to carry a pig out on our back. So very, very different senses of humour, but both are bloody funny if you're in the nick.
Yeah, of course. So I think we should take one of your first songs, actually. You've chosen quite a romantic ballad, the Peter Sarstedt tune. Tell us about why you chose Where Do You Go To, My Lovely?
Oh, you see, okay, so you're playing it in that order. You've started to screw with my order of things.
Oh,
and, okay, well, I'll tell you why.
If this is going to screw you up, we'll
no,
go with your first choice. No.
I love the song because it speaks of a part of the world that I enjoy greatly, which is sort of that south of France and northern Italy and the Riviera there, and it's just a sweet song, and I'm a bit of a romantic at heart, and it sort of touches me a wee bit. So I like the words to it, and I like that part of the world. And whenever I play it, it takes me there. So with being locked down for the last few years, I've missed it. I'm shooting off in a week or so, but after 3 years of being sort of stuck in New Zealand, sometimes listening to a song and imagining and taking yourself there is quite a nice thing.
Do you have a woman in mind as well for the song?
Oh no, there's just it's the perfect woman, but they're always out of reach, you see them occasionally as you're in that part of the world. You sort of drive past and go, you must be the one that song's about, but that's probably as close as you get. Oh, I've got a tear in my eye.
Oh, you will?
About it.
Oh,
yeah. There's not a specific woman, but there's 1,000 of them, and I love to people watch.
Mm.
And particularly people watch up there, funnily enough.
Is that where you're headed shortly?
Yeah. I've got a little place up and around that part by the water, so it's a lovely thing. Thing.
How magical! So you take family?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, very
we'll
good.
Try and get up there particularly after a few years away, so it'll be good fun.
Oh, yeah, I laughed about you saying you've been stuck in New Zealand for 3 years, because I think a lot of people feel that after the pandemic.
Oh, it's been dreadful. And, being in Auckland, it's been even worse. So, it's time to get out.
It's like...
I just hope I've ticked all the boxes of getting the right stamps and the right QR codes and proving that I'm triple vaxxed and all of that bloody jazz. You just know that, and then I've got a passport with a K in it.
Right.
But my name's spelled with a C in it, and so I get up to Italy and I'll pay somebody to get through the bloody gates, and I don't speak Italian. And
yeah.
Anyhow, makes it interesting, doesn't it?
It's a palaver. Who knows? When you get there, you'll be grateful. It's not.
Oh, you will.
It's not like it used to be. We just jumped on planes. We just went to live in London, or we just go and do whatever. Do you feel that for your daughter? Do you sort of feel sorry for her that she's been through this?
Oh, they're young enough, and we've tried to make it fun and young enough to, I guess, not be too deeply entwined or think too much about it. So, you know, they're doing all right. They're doing all right. But I do think it'd be quite nice to get away and get some sun as this bitter winter approaches.
Oh yeah, like it's you should be in. It's sunny here today in Gippsland, which is where we broadcast. But it's like it was about 2 degrees when I was driving, about 11. So yeah, it's one of those days. Winters are coming, and winter can be long in this country. Let's face it. So I totally hear you. So is this going to be sort of like a sabbatical, like a longer break for you, Mark, or?
I'll get a month up there, but you know, hopefully I'll get up there a few times a year. With luck, it's sort of you know, we're in Sniper's Alley now. I've just turned 50, you know, so there's one or two cobbers who get unlucky at this age. So you've got to bloody live your life, and I think the hardest thing, which most people battle with, is when do you jump off the treadmill, you know, because you sprint like a bloody blue ass fly as long as you can for these imaginary things that are going to make you happy, you know, a nice car, a nice house, you know, a trip here and there. Really, It doesn't matter a jot. It's how much time do you spend with the people you love. That'll be the thing you worry about when you take your last breath. So try and do as much of that as you can, is kind of my theory.
Yeah, that's right. And I think Kiwis tend to, we've got that sort of work ethic that's drilled into us, and we don't really perhaps stop and smell the roses too much, you know. I think maybe Europeans have a better handle on that.
They've got a much better handle on it. I mean, and you know, I don't even start me, but you know, the rot that's occurring with the food prices in New Zealand, and that's a trickle-up effect into housing and all. We're just getting bent over. I mean, I can do shopping and the most beautiful fruit, the most beautiful produce, charcuterie, meats, you know, yogurts, just fantastic product and produce. For example, a 1.5 litre water costs 15 cents in the supermarket.
Truly.
That's retail, so there's margin in that. You know, and we're getting bent over in New Zealand. But the whole, you know, 5-person shop for 4 nights, 4 days, lunches, breakfasts, dinners, the whole lot, is €80.
Yeah.
So how can that be happening?
Yeah.
How can it be happening that that same thing costs in New Zealand $400? Because the supermarkets are bending you over, and I know that as a fact because I used to be there with Charlie's, and it's preposterous. And this weak, lily-livered bloody government doing a report and getting told, yes, this is what's happening, and then doing nothing about it other than tabling the report. Oh, it just frustrates the hell out of me.
Yeah, we're not in a good place, are we? We're not in a good place.
No, heads have got to roll, and you just need a bit of practicality in there and common sense. I mean, the fact of the matter is that, you know, if people are spending that amount on food, which is the only thing I remember from university, is a thing called Maslow's hierarchy of prepotency, and at the top is self-actualisation. At the bottom are safety needs. So safety is food and shelter. And you look at the cost of food and shelter in New Zealand, it's little wonder nobody's self-actualising or climbing the ladder.
Yeah.
Because you're spending your whole time on the bottom rung just trying to keep your bloody head out of the water.
Yeah.
So, you know, don't worry about being kind. Kindness to me is giving people aspiration and a bit of blue sky thinking and the chance of actually aspiring to and having the ability to dream and to achieve, you know, not to sit there wallowing, but you're giving your neighbour a cuddle. I mean, just rhetoric. Anyhow, let's play more music.
You talk a lot of sense. I related to everything you said there, and I think a lot of listeners will too. That was really well put. All right, yeah, let's play some more music because you've chosen a Neil Diamond song. This is so good.
Oh, the Jewish Elvis. Yeah, you can't. I mean.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the song that just gets broken out at every single one of our weddings, all of our great mates. At some stage, there has to be the floor. A member of the sort of the tight 10 has to rise and lead combined Holy Holy. You know, usually a big barrel-chested ginger by the name of Carlton leads the charge, and, you know, in full cry, he rips his shirt off. Yeah. And screams, "Unleash me," popping all the buttons, and then he hits song. And by this stage, he's on his knees and hands in air. So the Jewish Elvis played a huge part in our formative years, particularly through university with quite a tight bunch. And this is the song that I'm sure we played at everyone's funeral, and the song that's been played at everyone's wedding. So it plays a big an instrumental part in our upbringing, that man, that's for sure. Went to watch him about 3 times, and every time something was on, and then the last time he got, was it Alzheimer's or Parkinson's? Something nasty anyhow, which prohibited him from going to Tomato Estate, which was where it was my third and final try at getting to see him live. So it's YouTube for me now.
I've never seen him live. You're lucky.
Well, no, I haven't seen him. I've tried 3 times.
Oh, I thought you said you saw him. I thought you saw him 3 times. I'm sorry, I misheard you. Oh, so you've never seen him either. No. So I guess that's, unless, is he quite ill or is he, what's the update on Neil? I haven't heard.
I don't think he's coming back. I don't think he's doing any more concerts.
Yeah, shame.
Sadly. But surely the technology at some stage will get into that holographic stuff where they can sort of do, Bob Marley's best concerts from Germany and combine all his best tunes and pull it together and package it and put it onto the stage. I reckon that'd be just as good as live.
Yeah, probably, but a little bit weird though. Not quite the same. But yeah, that is it.
Well, if you just invest in a cranking sound system and it looks real, and it's the best concerts that he ever played of the best tunes from the, various places around the world, it'll be, I'd pay to go to it.
Yeah, you're probably onto something actually. Yeah, okay, all right. Hologram concert. Yeah. Anyhow.
Start it for 10.
Start it for 10. Yeah, why not? So yeah, I adore that song. It does something to me, and it's interesting that you chose that one of Neil's because obviously everyone thinks of Sweet Caroline, which is sung at a lot of rugby grounds, But
yes. Yeah.
Was it hard to make that choice?
So many. Yeah, very, very difficult. I mean, I like B as well, which is more a philosophical song, but possibly, not with the same sing-along ability. But, that to me is a pretty moving movie. You go to a funeral and you always know the moment a tune hits, it's Neil Diamond, I'm gone. I'm off to the clean. It's not good.
What, bawling your eyes out?
Not good. Well, certainly needing a tissue. Yeah. If you play Neil Diamond at a funeral, I'm shocked. I'm not in a comfortable place.
Yeah, same.
But you have to do it because you kind of want to be not in your comfortable place at a funeral if you care that much for the person,
Absolutely. You want to feel every single raw emotion, and Neil will do it. Like, what about Shiloh and... what are some other songs that are very moving of his? Oh, there's so many. Oh,
yeah, Shiloh's a beauty, and then the Morningside's another one that gets me.
Oh, yeah.
About the the legs were made with his hand, made for the children. Nobody came to his funeral.
Yeah.
Oh, God, talking about it, you start getting a little...
Just rips your heart out. Oh, this is too much. And so, so you're a music lover. So it's been... it's obviously been a journey that you've taken with music, various things in your life. And of course, obviously on these TV shows, you had a lot of live bands and you had tons of fun. I mean, what a life it was. And all those rumours about you actually being drunk on the show, they weren't rumours. It was true. You were actually quite off your nut, really, a lot of the time.
Well, I certainly don't remember the evening in question. We'd had a long lunch and tequila's a bad idea before going live on air, and apparently I kicked a football into the crowd and it hit somebody on the nose. And I mean, it's just the stuff that you look back on now and you go, we're very lucky to get away with it. And of course, because we were so loose, we just said, I was acting.
Right.
And everyone sort of bought it, But the truth of the matter was I was not so much acting as just trying desperately to stay on the 2 pins. Yeah. It was... lots of fun.
Trying to keep it together, and I didn't know it was tequila. That's definitely a no-no, surely.
Dangerous stuff. And I was with a business partner, and he knew that it was coming up, and I'd sort of just passed the point of no return, and he thought, well, this would be quite funny if we really, scuttle a ship. So they did a number on me, and being somebody who takes pride in fronting. I said, look, I've got a responsibility. I've got to go there and do it. And, perhaps that was not my greatest hour.
Yeah, I don't know. We were all with you at the time, and we loved it because honestly, one thing we don't do enough, I think, is I think we've lost the art of fun, definitely, and I don't think we laugh. No one pokes fun at us anymore, do they? It just doesn't happen.
No, people take themselves incredibly seriously, and that's quite divisive, really. And each their own. Just if you can't take the piss out of yourself, then don't take it out of somebody else. But if you can't cop a joke about you, then you're pretty damn precious.
Yeah, I reckon. Hey, Mark, do you ever get back to Dunedin, your old stomping ground, the university?
Yeah. Sadly, I was there last week for a farewell of a guy I played rugby with. So, hence the Sniper's Alley. He's only 56. So, you do feel that you've got to, make the most of it and live every day. But it's just a wonderful place down there. It hasn't changed much. People, I think the further south you go, the better people get. That's sort of my take on New Zealand through my years of sort of travelling around it.
I agree with that.
Or when I say the better they get, the more focused they are on the things that matter. Whereas in Auckland you might live in a one-bedroom apartment and drive a Porsche because you want to look like you've made it. Down there, if you have made it, you probably drive a Toyota and live in a lovely house that only your friends get invited to. I don't know. It's just more of a humility. And interestingly enough, of our generation, if you're good at anything and somebody said, "Oh, you're good at something," you say, "Oh, no, not me, nothing to see here." Walk away. Whereas now the youngies are all about telling you how bloody brilliant they are when they've done nothing other than whack together a Facebook page purporting to be who they wish they were.
Absolutely spot on, Mark. Let's take another song, hey. Seven Spanish Angels. Why did you choose this one? This is a surprise.
You've chucked all of my romantics in, which means that we are finishing with a bit more contemporary and a bit of a boom.
We're gonna hit the high note, but this is the romantic phase.
Yeah, sure, okay. Well, it's nice to know we're there. Just the most romantic song ever written. I reckon it's beautiful. The words are stunning, and that brings a tear to the eye.
Yeah, I've just gone through a whole box of tissues.
Sorry, I'm now out on K Road walking to a meeting. So. Oh,
have you got a few more?
The audio may not. Mate, yeah, I've got plenty of time. Don't worry about that. It's
good.
Just, I've got to drive over to the North Shore. So.
Okay. You sure you're going to a meeting? You sure you're going to a meeting on K Road?
Well, I work on K Road, so yeah.
So it's not like the old days, is it? There.
No, it's actually it's worse. It really is. It's the best people watching in New Zealand. It's right up there with Cuba Street in Wellington. I
love K Road. I think K Road, but K Road's got all kind of gentrified now. Isn't it? Well, with a few oddballs thrown in.
Well, there's a lot of the street value is brilliant. I mean, in Dunedin we had Tricycle Guy and Hairy Guy and Speedy and Joan the Butcher and all of these personalities, and K Road's got 101. And I think dare I say it with tongue in cheek, as a net result of a few of the challenges that have faced New Zealand over the last couple of years, there's been a few more people frequenting the street, really, and huge personality. It's a lot of fun, and it's a good little community. Everyone digs each other, so
yeah. It's a great spot. I love hanging out there. Phil's got his offices just off K Road and spend a lot of time up there, and so that's where you are based now.
Yeah, it's full of real people. I mean I live in Greyland, which has an RSA, which is it's got an RSA. I quite like it, and that's pretty legit. And then K Road for me is just a bit, what you see is what you get, and that's quite a nice thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oft hard to find up the top here.
Yeah, you might not get that so much in Ponsonby.
Well, you get other things in Ponsonby. Not bad, not all bad.
Yeah, not all bad. So, do you still get away to the Coromandel much for a break?
Oh, sorry. Turn off. Yeah, I do indeed. We've got a place down there, so we get down there as often as we can, really.
Yeah, nice life.
Well, it's just a bit too long for a weekender. But over summer, if you get a long weekend, which we seem to be getting a few of in the summer months, it's well worth taking a trip. That's for sure. The water temperature's been like 24 degrees this year. It's been unbelievable.
It's been nutty, hasn't it? Bring
on global warming, I say. Oh gosh, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Don't give anyone my details. I'll be. I don't live in Greyland. I live in Herne Bay.
Yeah, and
look for me there.
My name is not Marc Ellis. And
there are some upsides, albeit very brief, and only going to affect a few of us for a very short period of time. But I do enjoy having the water temperature at 24 is quite pleasant.
I heard that Stewart Island is the next place to buy. Imagine that. The water temp will be amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not too sure when I'll go back to Stewart Island next after playing 3 love songs in a row. I mean, you've got to really do something for my credibility with the next couple.
Good, because that times in nicely. We've got 50 Cent. Woo! 50 Cent Indoor Club. I'm so glad you chose this. I love this song. Tell me why.
Well, we ended up in New York with a few mates, very dear friends. In fact, my best man and one of my groomsmen, and so much for the city that doesn't sleep. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and for some peculiar reason, we were ready to go. And the only club that was open was a blacks-only nightclub under the Brooklyn Bridge. And, of course, imbued with the sort of spirit that we were at the time, we thought, well, that, doesn't preclude us. And so in we charged.
Fearless.
And they played this. It was just after this song came out. And there were 100 Kim Kardashian buttocks, and they were all dancing as they do to this particular song. And we thought that was an open invitation to also dance in close proximity to the said buttocks. And by the time we lifted our head after the third round of the same song, every big fella was just staring at us going, what the hell are you doing? And I went, ooh. And so I shot off and found a bouncer and gave him $100 and said, mate, get my mates out of there. And he said, who are your mates? I said, well, they're the only white ones in there.
Yeah,
and
that'll be obvious.
I mean, it was tinder dry. We were, one more repeat in the club away from getting our beans seriously.
Yeah.
We'd have had gumboots and we would have been fished out of the Hudson.
Oh, that was daring. So, okay, well, let's play the song that nearly did you in, hey? 50 Cent. There it is. What a great song, Mark.
Yeah, and back to back, and we were flying Concorde at the time, and it was just not a nice mix. We were very happy to get out of there in one piece. Yeah,
that sounds nutty. Lucky that you were, compass enough that you could actually smartly tip the bouncer and get some help there.
Yeah, but I think we've done about 4 songs of really overstepping the mark, and without black people can dance, white people have not quite the same coordination, and but we thought we did.
Yeah,
and
of course you did.
I'm not sure that was the case, but we got out. $100 was a cheap way to get out of it.
I reckon that's a bargain. Yeah, I'll say. So do you laugh about that with your mates nowadays?
My mates came out and what the hell are you doing, mate? We're having an absolute whale of a time. They were loving us in there. And I was going, not entirely convinced. Like, did you actually say sort of lift your head up and have a look around the walls at who was staring at you?
Yeah. No, that sounds well dodgy.
Yeah, to this day they just thought I was being paranoid, but I'm pretty sure I stayed there live.
No wonder Rick Solizzo used to freak out when he worked with you sometimes, wondering what was going to happen next. God.
Oh, the angry Italian, don't worry. I mean, he took a bit of consoling and cajoling on occasion. I remember once in New York, some guy was, no, it wasn't New York, it was in San Francisco, and this guy was yapping away, as Americans do, pretty verbose way, telling everyone how bloody great he was, and it was distasteful, but it really offended Rick.
Right.
And I said, mate, look, we don't even know this guy. What are you worried about? And he went over there and dropped him.
Did he?
And and the guy stood up and ran outside, going, "Oh, you've broken my jaw! You've broken my jaw!" Which you can't do. You can't run with a broken jaw. So it was clearly, more yet from this guy. But the club, basically, the little pub we're in, they stood up and clapped them. And I don't think we bought a drink for the rest of the night.
Bonkers.
So he was obviously the local buffoon who somebody at least had the decency of putting in line.
Far out. Good old Rick.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's not as passive as he looks.
No, actually, well, no, I wouldn't cross Rick in a dark alley.
No, most certainly not. Beautiful man. But he can. He took great offence at some guy, yapping himself up. I don't know how he deals with the new generation.
God knows. Do you know what? I cannot believe it. We've only got about 4 minutes to go, or 6. And we've got your next song lined up, and it's a live version. And I know you expected to start with this, so we've completely messed your mind. And I'm sorry about that, Mark. But I hope you'll forgive us. But this is Bob Marley, War, and I heard you're a massive Marley fan.
Yeah, well, we kind of all were at university. We sort of saw him as a prophet, and I think the words that he sings. And this particular song, I found really quite moving, and in particular, the Otago rugby team were big fans, and this song sort of talks of division, and it wasn't too long after South Africa was, battling with apartheid, and in 1992 we went over for an All Black tour.
High accident area.
Oh, there we go, the car's talking to me.
You're in a high accident area.
Yeah, exactly. Aren't they all in Auckland? At least we're doing 30 kilometres an hour now, so we can't hurt anyone if we hit them. Let's not start. Anyhow,
no.
We had these baggage handlers who were some black fellas, and they got very little limelight on the tour, and at the end of the tour, we grabbed a few beers and took them to the room and played this song, and we basically were arm in arm with them.
Nice.
And they were really moved by the words and the fact that the All Blacks are held in such high esteem, particularly with black South Africans, because they were full of black people in the All Black team, and also there was this, virulent opposition to racism and to division and things that we sort of see creeping in many ways into New Zealand. We went to war for those guys, and so we had a wonderful little bond, and we played the song, and we all had tears in our eyes. It was pretty special. But Bob Marley is a prophet, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I cannot believe he only got to his late 30s, and I think you've chosen a great song to finish with for our Stewart Island discs, and I think you may have redeemed yourself. I know we played all the soppy ones first, but I think you can go there.
Send them off down the wrong path, you see, and then bring them back home. If it is actually Stewart Island that I'm contending with, I won't go back for a while.
No, just go to France and chill out, and no one will remember. We're only a digital station anyway, so we're very new, and so you'll be safe. You'll be fine, Mark. You can show your face.
I wouldn't play in the club in the northern Italy, but I'd play certainly the first three. I think that would endear you to the general populace quite well.
100%. I'd love to get you back on to talk about woke stuff too, and bringing back the fun. So maybe, I don't know, in the future when you come back, it'll be really good to catch up again.
Yeah, it'll be my absolute pleasure. Thanks. It's been fun.
It's been amazing, Marc Ellis. Thank you so much. You're a legend. And